Bankers, lenders of Reddit, what is the most bizarre loan you have seen people apply for? I used to practice the art of personal loans. Someone wanted $10,000 to buy a ranch in Tennessee, and we were in LA, so I asked him how he planned to buy a ranch in Tennessee with only $10,000. He then ran away without a word. To this day I still wonder what he really would have done with the $10K if I had given it to him. I love the idea that he went in there with a plan to tell you what he was going to use the money for but no answers to a single follow-up question because he just expected you to hand him the money, no questions asked. One of my coworkers had a customer get approved for a business credit card and he quickly used that to spend $10K on breast enhancement for his wife. When we asked him how this could even be considered a business expense, he told us, well, she's in sales. So breast implants may be deducted as a business expense, but only if they are so excessively large that the owner would not rationally choose to have them otherwise. I worked as a bank teller in college. My branch had a guy try to take out a $60,000 personal loan to help his girlfriend in Russia pay off border control so she could finally come join him in the U.S. after a 2-year exclusively text-based relationship. No matter what we said, he remained firmly convinced that she existed and was in love with him and that the $30,000 he'd already sent her was money well spent. We didn't give him the loan. He closed his accounts on the spot, taking the entire $1,000 he had left with him. We had an old lady like this. She wanted to draw down $100,000 to send to her friend in South Africa that she had never met. We kept declining the application and eventually had to get her son involved because she refused to believe she was getting scammed. I think he ended up trying to get POA on her accounts. She wasn't all there. So we had a guy come in wanting a car loan for a used diesel truck. The truck was $15K. Unfortunately, the truck had high mileage and his credit wasn't the greatest and we could only approve him for $6K and 15% interest. It was not a good loan and I told the customer as much. I advised finding a lower mileage, newer vehicle and waiting 6 months to repair minor credit issues in order to get a lower interest rate. He insisted on getting that truck right that very moment. He proceeded to tap into his retirement funds. Probably paid some insane penalties and taxes, paid the $9K down payment and signed the paperwork for the loan. 3 months later he sold the truck at a loss. I live in an area where people think diesels are worth their weight in gold. 1996 7.3-liter Power Stroke with 290K miles are still being bought and sold for well over 10K. Edit, spelling. I work in 401K administration. You can take a loan out on your 401k depending on how the plan is set up. One of the provisions for many plans is that you can take a $5,000 loan if you have a baby or adopt. Someone called in asking to take a loan because their friend had a baby. What? No, we won't give you $5,000 whenever someone you know has a child. We had a guy who needed just a little more money to catch the Sasquatch. He had a guy that was willing to pay him billions of dollars once he caught it. It sounds like a joke, but the guy was dead serious. Guess he had to Bigfoot the bill himself. Gentleman came into my small local credit union to apply for a car loan. Great, what kind of car is it? A Jeep. Awesome. What's the exact model? It's custom. Well, what year is it? 1989. Oh, a little on the older side. And the mileage? Not sure, the guy I'm buying it from is in different state. Oh, I'm sorry sir, it would have to be registered in state. Oh, well, do you know how to register a monster truck with the DMV? Excuse me? Yeah, the Jeep's been converted to a monster truck. I'm not just gonna drive it around. Oh, I'm so sorry, we won't be able to finance your out-of-state, vintage, monster truck. That's a shame because that sounds awesome as hell. Saddest one I ever got was a 88-year-old woman who applied for a $100 loan to get a window AC unit for her trailer. She didn't have a computer to apply online and wasn't able to drive, so his daughter drove her to the branch. The temps were getting up to 104 that summer and it was dangerous for her to be inside. The unit was $60 but she was too frail to pick it up and needed the extra $40 to get it installed. We couldn't approve her and I was a little upset about the daughter. She couldn't save $40 for 2 months to help out her mom? If this ever happens to you again, contact Adult Protective Services. If it was dangerous for her to be inside her house, they would be able to help her. My banker told me a story of a rapper who asked for a loan to make his music video, where he produced an itemized list of the various items he'd be renting, including 2 kilos of cocaine. He's usually not one for telling tall tales, but this just borders the line between believable and not for me. Most surprising thing is the guy was planning on renting cocaine. I'm sure he would have returned the 1 kilo of cocaine he was planning on renting. Not a banker, but I heard a coworker at a previous job complaining to someone that his loan application for his cigarette company was denied. His logic was that he enjoyed rolling his own smokes, so why not start a business selling hand-rolled cigs? He legit thought he would make millions doing it. Why did he think he needs a loan for that? You can just start selling. Not too crazy, but an airplane. Not just a single prop Cessna or anything like that, but this plane could seat like 8 to 10 people and had climate control and everything. My head underwriter didn't want me to use the plane itself as collateral, as he could just take off with it and end up anywhere on the planet. After explaining that was pretty much true with a car-boat loan too, she acquiesced. I'm not going to tell you for privacy's sake how much it was, but let's say that I could have not sold another loan for about 6 months and still exceeded all of my goals. Did it have a jet engine or multiple propellers? Not a banker, of course. I handled a fraud case where the lady took out a $6,000 personal loan in cash. I think that was the amount. This was several years ago, to send to who she thought was an 80s-era country singer who claimed to be in financial trouble. She stuck the cash in an envelope and mailed it to another state. She also sent several $1,000s worth of iTunes gift cards through the mail to him because somehow that would help him pay his bills or something. Altogether I think it was close to $20,000 she sent. Unfortunately, there's a lot of lonely people who fall for scams like that, and most of them don't realize it until they're completely tapped out. It's really sad. I make agriculture loans exclusively. No other loans except to farmers and ranchers. Borrower's wife comes in mid-40s, asks to borrow $10,000 but doesn't want husband to know. I ask the purpose, she beats around, then finally tells me she needs the money for breast enhancements. I tell her I can only make loans that enhance the farm, then she gives me this big spill about how it would increase her husband's morale, thus a better farm. Still hard no, somehow she gets the procedure. 2 years later she has nice breasts, a new husband, and together they own half of a cotton farm. I still bank the first husband. I used to work in a department of Wells Fargo that specialized in the weird. All the loans no other department would touch. It started as a way to keep business customers with lots of money happy. Like a courtesy loan, knowing that we would make money from them elsewhere. One of the most iconic loans, that we used as an example to explain to other departments what we did, was a loan where a farmer put up a barn as collateral to get a loan to buy his wife's dentures. In 2007, my buddy, who had been a bartender, was hired by a regular at his bar to become a mortgage underwriter. One of his first customers was a guy who made $1,800 per month applying for a loan that had a monthly payment of $3,600 per month to start, but it was an ARM, and it was slated to increase to $5,400 per month after 3 years. And this loan was to buy a boat, not a house. The guy who hired my buddy came in and told my buddy to underwrite the loan. And that's the story of how my buddy quit his new job before his first shift even ended. I work in tech, specifically in the mortgage industry. The funniest thing I saw was a closing disclosure, the document you get before your loan that covers all your payoffs among other things, for someone who was paying off a ton of debt from a variety of sources by refinancing their home. They had a Section K, which is basically third-party payoffs, that was literally longer than our document form could handle. Normally this section can handle 10 to 11 payoffs, and it's rare for us to see more than 2 or 3. This person had close to 40, which is just insane. It took our tech team 3 days to get a new template that would work, get it approved, and fix the software so it could be handled. I would imagine that's partially because your underwriter must have had balls of steel to approve a loan for someone who has 40 loans with balances. We used to offer a home equity line of credit with the marketing along the lines of "It's like turning your house into a savings account." It even came with a Visa card. Had a monthly adjustable variable rate tied to the prime rate. People applied for it like mad, and that is the most bizarre loan I have ever seen people apply for. I'm pretty confident they all lost their houses in the housing implosion a few years later. Home equity is a useful tool, but people were going on vacations and buying groceries with that beep Visa card. Years ago, a friend of mine that works as a loan officer had to explain to a guy that he couldn't get an additional loan to cover the down payment on a mortgage. The guy didn't have a job, but he kept insisting that he would be starting some unspecified job in 3 months. He didn't know how much it paid. I like his scheme. Take out loans then use new loans to pay back parts of the original loans. Was his last name Ponzi by chance? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We upload videos almost daily.